Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. This morning, God's Pantry Food Bank got a big donation to help feed students across central and eastern Kentucky. Molina Cares donated $25,000 to God's Pantry with a check presentation this morning. Jim Stratman was there and breaks down how this will benefit students throughout our area.
On the surface, it's a large donation. $25,000 for any organization like God's Pantry Food Bank is something to be grateful for. But it means even more when you think about the people this money will help.
And food is more expensive, gas is more expensive, so we are seeing more people at our pantries due to inflation.
Programs like these are essential to ensuring that our neighbors' most basic needs and protecting the health and well-being of our most fragile members are taken care of.
The specific programs? School-based pantries, making sure that students and even their families are fed.
In some of these counties where our school pantries are based, there is little to no other food pantry system in place there.
Danielle Bozarth is the Vice President of Mission Delivery for God's Pantry Food Bank.
In some of the school pantry sites, it's kindergarten through 12th grade in some of our counties in eastern Kentucky. So these school pantries are just really important to the kids and their families.
Officials say that money will specifically go to help 7 school-based pantries, 3 of them here in Fayette County, 1 in Elliott County, Nicholas County, Bath County, and Robertson County.
They can visit the pantry anytime they'd like and like I said, pick up extra nutritious food for their siblings. Officials say that the money will help keep shelves stocked in those 7 pantries and help cut down on food insecurity in those areas. Jim Stratman, WYMT Mountain News.
Kosair Charities in Louisville is helping kick off Child Abuse Prevention Month with their Face It movement. It's an initiative founded and funded by Kosair Charities to directly address child abuse and neglect in Kentucky. Right now, we rank 5th in the nation when it comes to child abuse and neglect. However, that number has improved since we ranked number 1 3 years ago. Kosair Charities say they are helping combat child abuse by promoting the best practices in child abuse prevention and intervention.
During these events, parents will have the opportunity to connect with one another, learn about child development stages, and interactive ways to connect with their children and more.
Child Abuse Prevention Month gets going in April. This year's theme is prevention and healing. The Face It movement will be hosting a series of events and trainings, sharing free resources, promoting child safety tips and family engagement ideas, and more. It is common for high school students to be consumed with school, sports, and their social lives, but one southeastern Kentucky high schooler wanted to shake things up by starting not 1, but 2 businesses. WYMT's Alyssa Williams caught up with the ambitious teen to learn more.
Growing up, we all dream of who we wish to be and what we hope to accomplish. But one southeastern Kentucky student found a way to turn his dreams into a reality.
Never give up on anything that you ever dreamed of, because it can eventually come true.
In March of 2020, North Laurel High School student Logan Poff wanted to pick up a new hobby.
Back whenever COVID first hit, I said, I have nothing else to do, so why not buy me a set of DJ decks? And so I just worked, and eventually I booked my first event, which was a birthday party.
But that wasn't the only creative outlet Poff dedicated his time to. Photography was something else Poff was passionate about, and it eventually earned him the opportunity to become a designated photographer for the local sports teams.
Every basketball game that I did, I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because I've never had that experience, and it's pretty cool getting to, get in tune with all the players and get closer with them as well, as long as building my business.
Poff was able to turn this opportunity into a small business, capturing athletes, senior portraits, and middle school reps to add to his portfolio, giving him the chance to quit his job at Kroger to devote his time to photography and his side hustle, DJing.
Of course, we want him to focus on his education, obviously, but also if he can pursue this and keep moving forward, I think as he goes to college, it's going to be something that's really going to take off for him and give him endless opportunities if he will continue to do it.
Poff says in the future he would like to go into sports broadcasting and work for a major sports company. But Poff says one of his biggest goals is to become a role model for the kids in his community.
And that's one of my biggest driving forces, is making sure that these kids have something to look up to and they're looking up to the right things and not just some celebrity out in Hollywood that, you know, could lead them down the wrong path.
Showing kids across the region that with a little hard work, anything is possible. In London, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Poff says he does everything for God's glory alone. You can find Poff's work on his Facebook page and his Instagram. We'll have those linked on this story at WYMT.com.
Quiet weather continues tonight. Now a few clouds working in. It's breezy in spots, and it's definitely a chilly one out there. You see some of those clouds already working in. Our high knob camera at UVA-wise, we're still seeing some filtered sunshine, but more of that cloud cover will be with us as we head through the evening. 37 degrees right now. Yeah, it's a chilly one out there right now. Heading down to downtown Whitesburg again. Filtered sunshine, but a little bit of sunshine nonetheless. They're a little bit warmer. Upper 40s right now, near 50. That's one of the exceptions to the rule this afternoon. Upper 40s into the Cumberland Valley, near 50. Other spots still into the low to mid 40s around the region. Pinpoint Doppler maybe trying to indicate a few showers down across the Tennessee and Kentucky border west of Monticello, but I don't think much of that's reaching the ground at all. We're keeping an eye on that little system, though. That could throw a few showers our way overnight. So keep that WYMT weather app handy. Of course, you'll have the latest right in the palm of your hand. Radar imagery and, of course, our forecast, which has us down into the lower 30s as we head into tonight. I'll have the latest on when showers and storms return to the region coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Today, President Biden released his latest budget, which focuses on more military spending and funding police departments while taxing the wealthiest Americans to help tackle the massive budget deficit. But will it pass Congress? CBS's Deborah Alfarone has the latest from Capitol Hill.
President Biden unveiled his nearly $6 trillion budget proposal for fiscal year 2023.
We're reducing the Trump deficits and returning our fiscal house to order.
It proposes a corporate tax rate increase to 28% and a billionaire minimum income tax, which would require households making more than $100 million to pay 20% on their total annual income.
A firefighter and a teacher pay more than double the tax rate that a billionaire pays. That's not right.
The president's budget also takes aim at reducing crime with more than $30 billion for community policing and law enforcement. But it comes as Americans are facing the fastest inflation hike in 40 years.
If the spending side goes through, but the revenue side does not, that would increase the debt and also run the risk of overstimulating the economy, contributing to rising inflation.
Democratic leaders here on Capitol Hill have praised the president's budget as bold and strong, but it faces an uphill battle in an evenly divided Senate.
The White House is desperately spinning to call this budget centrist, but there's nothing remotely moderate about what's in it.
The president's proposed increase in Pentagon spending as Russia wages war in Ukraine has drawn criticism from some allies. Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders said in a statement, at a time when we are already spending more on the military than the next 11 countries combined, no, we do not need a massive increase in the defense budget. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Chairman Bernie Sanders says the Senate Budget Committee will hold its first hearing on the president's budget Wednesday morning. Pentagon officials believe Russia has launched nearly 1,400 missiles into Ukraine, but isn't furthering its advance on the capital city, Kyiv. The Kremlin says ceasefire negotiations will resume Tuesday, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready for a compromise in the eastern Donbas region, which has been partially controlled by Russia-backed separatists since 2014. Dutch brewer Heineken said today it will exit the Russian market amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Heineken had already halted new investments and exports to Russia and had stopped the sale, production, and advertising of its Heineken brand beer in the country. Heineken expects to take a nearly $450 million hit from the move. Cases of the flu are increasing across the U.S., and new research out of Britain shows being hospitalized with the flu and COVID at the same time could double your risk of dying. Researchers in Scotland, England, and the Netherlands studied more than 300,000 adults hospitalized with COVID within the last 2 years. Nearly 7,000 of them had COVID along with another viral infection. Doctors say testing for the combination is crucial. CDC researchers say flu season typically peaks between December and February, but in many parts of the country, flu activity is climbing now. The highest levels of flu recorded right now are in the central and south central regions of the country, where some schools have even had to cancel classes due to the surge in cases. This comes after a nearly non-existent flu season last year.
The COVID virus is a respiratory virus also. So the measures that have been useful and helpful decreasing transmission of that virus have also played some impact on the influenza virus.
Doctors say the increase in cases could be because many of those public health measures like masking and social distancing are being relaxed. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, you may be looking for a new job, but is everything buttoned up at your current one? The checklist you'll want to have before you join the Great Resignation.
Active weather, typical of late March, on its way back later this week. I've got a full breakdown on the way.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories